Welcome back to the Hunter Dividends YouTube channel. This is Kyle Hunter, aka the Hunter of Dividends. You can follow me on Twitter at Hunt Dividends. Also, subscribe here to this channel if you haven't already and give this a thumbs up if you like the content. I hope everybody's having a great week. I wanted to talk about a stock that is widely loved in the market. I don't blame people for loving it. Valuation always seems to be an issue, but I've found myself frustrated that I haven't bought this one before now. I always want to be transparent. Many people say, "Oh, I bought this one just at the right time. I was perfect timing. Here it was." Talk about only the things that they've done perfectly, and I'll tell you what, I really like to talk about the mistakes or the things that I really wish I had done different when it comes to investing in general, too. There's a lot of things that can be learned from mistakes and a lot of things that can be learned as you try to go through the rest of life and try to live and learn. So we look here at Costco Wholesale Corporation. Everybody loves Costco in many different ways. Let's take a brief look at this one from a dividends perspective and from valuation perspective. And I want to hear from you guys to see what you think of Costco at these current levels. So let's look at a 5-year chart here. Costco has clearly had an amazing 5 years, coming from about $150 up to $500 a share. It did hit a high of 612. In the last 6 months, it's down a bit. It was hit pretty hard there. Late May, when it dipped from about 500 down to 404. That was when Target came out with their bad news, and Costco and a lot of the other retailers were hit as well. Costco has bounced back here some in the last month. Here we are with Costco on a chart. If you look at the max chart, obviously it's been tremendous. Hey, I'm kicking myself for not having been in Costco earlier. I've had some good calls, but this is one where I wish I had been in this one a long time ago. I hope you have been. If you're watching this or listening to this, hope you've been in Costco for a long time now. Always want the community to be doing well. I'm not one of those guys that gets frustrated by other people having success. You got to surround yourself by people who actually want you to have success. Certainly, Costco. Let's look at Simply Safe Dividends. I love Simply Safe Dividends. Tremendous research vehicle. 99 on dividend safety. To be fair, it's a dividend yield of just 0.73%. So you're not going to get rich from the dividend in this one right now. However, this does pay special dividends from time to time. And the dividend growth here is pretty fast. 14% the most recent, 12% 5-year CAGR, 13% 10-year. I think they will continue to raise their dividend fairly quickly. And in the long run, your yield on cost will look quite a bit different than the actual dividend yield. So keep that in mind. The PE ratio, and this is what's hard for so many people, including myself, to get over. 35.5 consumer staples in general, averaging 21.1. 35.5 price to earnings is awfully high. Valuation certainly does matter. The forward PE ratio, 5-year average, has been 33.9. It got almost as high as 50. Now it's back down to 35.5. The earnings payout ratio, only 25%. Like I said, it does pay out a low dividend right now. Earnings per share have been growing very impressively. Great growth here from Costco. I'm not surprised by that. I do think the stock will continue to grow pretty nicely. The question is, how much do you pay for that? The return on equity has been very good. Operating margins are a bit tricky for stores such as Costco, so I wouldn't read too much into that. And interest coverage is tremendous. Pristine balance sheet here for Costco, certainly. Let's look at the fast graphs valuation. This is adjusted operating earnings. And if we look at Costco over the last few years, it traded pretty close to this blue line, which is the average price to earnings ratio over this period. This dates back to 2002. So this stock has traded pretty close to the blue line for a long time. And then it got way above the blue line, was trading at a very high valuation. It's come back down a bit. But even if we just let's look at about a 10-year here, it stayed above this level. Obviously, hindsight's 2020, but back in 2018 would have been a nice time to buy this stock when it was down, getting hit down from the 250s down to 190 or so. Then it made an amazing run. Right now, according to Fast Graphs, this one looks overvalued compared to historical averages. Let's look at it from a free cash flow standpoint. This one does trade at high valuations in general, and I don't think that you're going to get any amazing sale on Costco to where this is going to be dirt cheap at any point. Price to free cash flow right now, 42.29. Certainly high levels here for Costco, but it has traded at a pretty high level in general. This is the max chart. You can see that it has gone up a bit faster than their cash flow growth has here of late. Sales standpoint, sales is a bit tricky also for this, but sales, I'm going to look at a shorter term. We'll take 10 years instead of the max. Again, pretty far above. So this is looking a bit overvalued. If we forecast out the future, we know forecasts aren't perfect, but it's the best we have to go from. Sales, the average would leave you negative 20.67 rate of return. I don't think that Costco will be a negative 21% rate of return stock. Having said that, I am concerned by how highly valued it is. This is a stock that is priced so highly, it's hard for me to get behind it at this level. I badly want to buy Costco, just as a guy who definitely relies on valuation quite a bit. It's hard when you see these earnings numbers and you see the cash flow numbers and the charts out here. It's just hard to justify paying the price that we see right now. I'd love to see a dip in Costco so I can grab this one. What do you guys think of Costco? Do you think Costco is just one of those stocks that is never going to be cheap? Or do you think that Costco may dip and we'll get a chance to grab this one? Interested to see what other dividend investors think of this one. If you're a dividend investor, if you're a stock investor of any kind, let me know your thoughts on ticker symbol COST, Costco. Complicated picture, a fantastic company. Love Costco a lot. Would love to get involved in this one. Would just like to see a little bit lower valuation. So what do you think about this one? Do you think this one's a good buy? Just pay the higher price for such a great company, or do you think we could see a dip here incoming? And what do you think of the valuation of this one? So leave your thoughts below. I hope everybody has a good rest of the week, and we'll be checking out some more dividend stocks here pretty soon. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe and give this a thumbs up if you would. Have a great rest of your week.